when they came with their smash bowl. It's
nice.
Potatoes, bacon, cheese, and fries all in one bowl. So can't go wrong with that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
How are things with you, man? Good?
Good, yeah. Are we live? Are we rolling?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, yeah? Oh, we're straight into it.
Let's do it.
Dude, upgrades.
Yeah, you like?
Yeah.
Well, you just caught us on a good day. We cleaned a little bit.
Okay.
We have some sort of problem with wires.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably familiar with going on other podcasts where there's like 3 or 4 wires.
Yeah.
There's like 100 wires back
yeah,
there, and you can't hide them apparently.
Yeah.
But we did clean up a little bit, so I appreciate you saying the
probably
upgrade.
the first time it's been cleaned for you.
Yeah, we did it for you.
Wow.
It was like, Noel's coming. We got to clean it up.
I do like that this is shot on security cameras. I like that this feels like John Wayne Gacy's basement.
Bro, I respect that you fucking know that, because I didn't know that until like a week ago.
Yeah, they do look a little ominous.
We've had people come in, like people with small podcasts, or not even small, but you know, like their own Patreon. What's that? Yeah, I know. But like, and then we'll send them the clips, and they'll be like, "Did you film this underwater?"
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, man. These look like good cameras to me.
To me, it looks fine. They move and shit.
Yeah.
They're,
I guess I should put, I don't know, an ounce of effort into learning what technology is.
So did you choose these?
Hell no.
I didn't.
Okay,
No.
all right.
I don't know, somebody back there pretending to know what they're doing chose these. I
This
don't
is
know. What do you guys use?
This is avant-garde, man. I like it.
Yeah, that's what we're going
We
for.
use regular old normal cameras, but the security cameras is good. It's good. No, I'm not trying to talk
Our
shit.
original studio, Adam Parry once described it as a living inside of a lit cigarette.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So that we've upgraded from that.
Yeah. No, you
Called
have.
the white person trap house.
Yeah. This looks good, man. Yeah. Just trying to recreate the basement. I like it.
Yeah. Just
a
getting
good
that
vibe.
the hang vibe. I feel like, man, I feel like I thought you were younger than you were.
Oh.
For some reason, like when like Cody and Noel, I thought of as like, I guess because we were blogging, and then like you guys were like YouTube, and that was like new age back then. But it's even getting to the point now where like you're gonna be the old man on the internet soon, you know?
Yeah. Oh, people already call me.
If not, that was kind of
people
my
already
question.
call me
You
the
already
OG. Yeah. They call me the OG. Yeah. And now people say stuff like, "I remember watching Noel on That's Cringe." Like they.
Yeah.
But that's.
But are you getting the like your okay boomer type shit? Or are you still?
No.
Yeah.
I think what's been great is like as I've gotten more like, once I've like gotten back into stand up and just have been doing it. You know, a lot of our audience has aged up, but now like they want to go out and they want to drink, and sometimes they, I don't know, they just want to hear crazier, edgier commentary or just funnier jokes, and so when they come out to the shows, I'm finding that, you know, it's just a good time.
Was that like a conscious effort? Like when you were, is it like separation of church and state sort of? You have like your internet content and your stand-up content?
Not really. I never thought of it that way. I did stand-up before everything, and I knew I always wanted to get back to it. So, yeah, it was more like it just felt like the right time.
Right.
And you know, making stuff on YouTube is cool, but I think I was always doing stuff that was just trying to get back to stand-up. Like commentary is kind of that. I would Twitch stream a ton, and my Twitch streams were like these like psycho open mics. Basically, I would just go live and with a handheld mic, and I just like pace in a circle for 2 hours and just like say wild stuff. Yeah.
Just solo?
Yeah.
Wow, that is some psycho shit.
Yeah.
Streaming is interesting to me. Like, you know, doing a YouTube show, doing sketch comedy, like internet stuff, you know, traditional like formats. But the world of streaming, where it really is like you get the right people in a room, or even just go solo and do wacky shit, do interesting shit, do funny conversation. You can literally just like fucking press record or press stream and live.
Yeah, it's a grind, man.
I bet.
Yeah, I had to get out of that. But
How long did you do that for?
I did it all through COVID, or whatever people want to call it now, and
What else do people call it?
yeah, you know, whatever your name is for that period. And then I did it for a bit after, but once we could, like, you know, once Daddy Biden let us travel again. No, I'm kidding. JK. Yeah, once we could travel, that's when I just started booking clubs, and it became really hard for me once I started doing stand-up to really fall back in love with like super internet oriented stuff.
Dude,
do you think that's because of the? I guess it's not the immediate reaction, because you get immediate reaction on the internet as well.
Yeah, you do.
But the immediate like hearing the laughter and stuff like that.
No, I think what it is like, I think sometimes when you put stuff on the internet, most of the time, I don't know, the commentary, it's always very polarized. Mm-hmm. It's either like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard and this person should kill himself, or it's like, dude, you are the funniest person ever, and I think comedy ends with you. And
yes.
It's like both.
Neither of those
are helpful.
Yeah.
So I think what I like about stand-up is if something like sucks or it doesn't.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
Yeah. And so like I really enjoy when like strangers walk into the show who don't have any clue about who I am, because I'm like, great, I'm just gonna say what I think, and we'll see if it actually like
they walk out like you.
Ignites something. Yeah. So
I mean, if
I guess I just think like, this is such a cliche, but and I don't want to talk too much about the science of stand-up, but I think that is ultimately what's fun about it. Is that's just the risk. You're gonna say something, and if it eats shit, sometimes that's really funny. If you say something and people are like, what? You go,
there's a little bit less.
Never mind.
That feeling, I almost, I do like a moment when I hate when a comic like blames the audience, being like,
nah.
But when the comic's like, okay, you guys aren't ready for that. Like,
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm a weirdo. I get it. You can get yourself in some predicaments on a stage for sure, saying shit, but far less. I feel like, with the exception of fucking Kramer and crazy shit. If you really fuck up, you're still going down.
Yeah.
But you tell a joke that's too far or badly received, for the most part, you probably have a couple hundred or a few thousand people go like, oh, that was weird. Whereas, the internet, it's like they're coming for your life and your family and your job and all that shit. It's a little more.
Yeah.
There's a little more respect on when you're on stage. I feel like. The internet's just a grimy place, man.
I think people are just super polarized now. So like they're kind of like waiting. All people do now online is argue. Like, so I think they're like hype. If someone,
I think when you're in person too, your relationship can change with like your audience. With your like, you can like win them over, you can lose them, you can get them back. With the internet, I think that goes like almost like erosion.
Horses out of the barn.
It takes forever to have the flip, or whereas like in live, like we don't do stand up, we've done jokes, and like we've done live podcasts, and like in 5 minutes I've been like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, be like, all right, that was pretty good. Fine.
I mean, if you think about people who do something wrong on the internet, lose their audience, lose their job or whatever, it takes them like a decade to come back.
Yeah.
And it's like after 10 years away, we like returned, and it's like, god damn, it took 10 years for whatever reason. And in the club, one good joke, and like, okay, we're cool with you.
Yeah.
The internet's just I mean, I don't think we realize how much we like lived through the very, 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 very beginning of the internet. Like, the very first iteration of it, especially you guys, because you guys were even ahead of the curve at the time, where it's like, people like you kind of determined how the internet was used. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, I hesitate to say that, but that's crazy.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, I feel like you guys were early trendsetters and trailblazers of how to use YouTube, and
I think, and I think
I definitely think that as a fan, and
I appreciate
contemporary.
that, man. I think there's definitely different pockets of time with YouTube. I think when we came out, I think the commentary format, video essay, whatever you want to call it, was, or at least like reacting to stuff, that was pretty, at that point it was kind of a well-established format. And I actually think people always compared us to another duo called Jake and Amir. And so, I don't know. Now I view the internet like the Matrix, where every 3 years it renews.
Yeah.
And, so whenever I see like some ethnically vague and dude and like a white guy, and they're like reacting to something, it could be like
it's the new Cody code.
Yeah, it could be like an ethnically vague lesbian and a white lesbian. It's like, we all
ethnically vague is a great description.
Then we all end up back in the room with the architect, and he like taps his finger, and we're all on the screens.
Yeah, that's fucking great. Just plug it in the back of the head and go. That's funny.
But I actually think what's been funny too is as I've gotten older, now I get all the ethnically ambiguous comedians or like aspiring comics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll message me and they'll be like, man, it's so sick to see someone that like looks like me.
It's like, what are you?
Yeah.
You could get anything.
Yeah.
You could get Puerto Rican, Indian, black, white, whatever.
I take it all, man.
If I were you, I would never say what I am. I would just be like, I don't know, man.
It's like in Veep when they Veep that you never know what party Selena Myers is part of.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know, man. I'm all of it.
I'm not saying where I'm from, especially on these security cameras.
So back on tour, back on the road. That has to be. I was gonna say that has to be a hard part of it, but maybe you like it. I don't know. I feel like if you got used to COVID, internet life, sitting at home in front of the screen, and next thing you know, you're flying to like Omaha, Nebraska, and all sorts of crazy shit. It's not the easiest transition.
I'm a pretty restless person, so once I started touring again, the first year out, the first day out, I went I went pretty hard that year. I think I did like. Yeah, I did. I don't know. I think I was flying out of LA every weekend, and I was doing. Yeah.
When did you start doing stand up?
Jeez, man. So before the internet, I was doing stand up all the way in like 2013, 2014.
So you're like what, early 20s?
Yeah. I was in my early 20s. Yeah, I got a lot of like random stories and random run-ins with people from that period. But
what's your craziest one?
Crazy? I don't have any crazy ones.
Crazy, but what sticks out?
There was I always like kind of appreciated this, that like Neil Brennan was always like really conversational. So I had seen him do a set at I think the Laugh Factory, and then I had popped over to the Comedy Store, and I was like standing against the wall, and he was standing next to me, and he just like he said, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just at the Laugh Factory," and I like commented on some joke, and then he just started like talking to me about the joke, and then he like went on stage, and I thought that was dope because I was extremely new to comedy, so that always kind of like stuck out to me. And then I think outside of that, there was I don't know. There's just I used to go to this mic a lot with Trevor Wallace and those guys, Chad and JT.
Yeah, I feel like that you guys. There's almost like it's like a draft class in the NBA sort of.
In a way.
Like there's guys that are either a certain age or certain style or whatever it is, where you kind of get associated with them.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that crew is a good one. You got a lot of success coming out of that.
Do you think there's a lot like? I think it's Drake has a line where he's like talking about rappers and athletes, how they want to be each other. Mm-hmm. Do you think that with like internet people and non-internet people in the comics, where I feel like there's a bit of a switch right now, where internet comics or internet comedians, whatever you want to say, have been doing a lot more live, and it's been years in the making. But right now, everyone's kind of hitting a pinnacle, and I feel like a lot of what you would consider club comics are doing the podcast and the YouTube and stuff like that. I feel like it's like always like a grass is greener kind of deal.
I think that's part of it. I also think, actually, a comic I know, Niles Abston, he was like talking about this the other day. He was saying that outside of podcasting, he was pointing out that there's not a lot of avenues for comics to really like get paid anymore. Like there aren't like a ton of TV jobs to write for. That was his opinion.
Right.
And that's something I actually agree with a lot. I think a lot of comics are realizing that they could have been monetizing via the internet.
Yeah.
And
I think there was like a little bit of a high and mighty, like I'm a stage comic and I don't do
100%.
I don't do YouTube.
100%.
I don't do Twitter or whatever. And then
that was my like when I started doing stand up again, every sound guy, every waiter, that was the it was nice, but sometimes
them being like, welcome back to like the real game.
No. It was like sometimes like a lot of backhanded compliments.
Yeah.
It was a lot of the internet people come through here and they like shit on them and then they go, but you're good.
Yeah, that's okay. I can understand. There's hacks in every industry, and on the internet you see a lot more.
Yeah, let me caveat that I understand their position 100%.
But there are people who are good and just to be blunt, like have a brain and understand like the world is gonna be on the internet.
Yeah.
And also even the hacks, it's like, cool man, like that bought me a mansion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever. I think there was a little bit of that where it's like I don't do the internet, and then once people realize A, how much money you can make, and B, like you can still be regarded as a hysterical comic.
Yeah.
It's just that I use the internet. It's kind of crazy to knock people for using the internet.
Yeah, I think I guess I don't want to, like high and mighty, or I guess the kind of hard line of the stage is here and the internet's there. I think a lot of that came, or I would guess a lot of that came from, because there was this wave where a lot of, I think, people from Vine and other parts of the internet were just getting like jammed into clubs.
Yeah, that I could understand if I was like losing stage time or just
I think that's what it was. I think
headlining over me, and it's like,
yeah,
what the fuck. I get.
Yeah, and I think comics who are objectively, undeniably very good at their craft, and like they've been doing it 10 years, and if they get bumped for someone who doesn't really give a shit about being on stage, and they get up there and they're kind of saying stuff that, and you got perfectly talented people just sitting there going,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
I earned that. I did the open mics. I did.
Yeah.
But I also think, it's like if you, I think going up on stage with the risk of bombing is probably 99% of like the world's like biggest fear.
Yeah.
Is going up in public and looking stupid.
Yeah.
But on the other side, like if you bomb per se on the internet and the whole world is coming down on you, it ain't fun over here either. You know what I mean? They both have their differences, but
it's crazy.
There's honor in all of it. It's like it's crazy to do any of it,
It's funny too because now, I think that we frame a lot of the internet as like, oh, if you make a bad joke, but now, man, dude, TikTok is ruthless, because everyone's young and they're gonna say something stupid, but dude, if you are 20 something and you step like even this much out of line, oh my god, man,
they come down on you.
Yeah, I think it's really funny when there's a couple people I see on TikTok where if someone gets just flamed real bad, I do always appreciate the honesty from people going, man, I would have change my name after this, and the fact that this person still posts,
hell yeah, I know,
big up.
Yeah. I think you can we were just talking about do you know Pookie? Yeah. Like I think they're coming around, that people are starting to be like,
we're gonna start smoking
this
out of
is
glass
actually
again,
them, like
but Pookie's coming back,
like she I think he kind of drives the vibe of that couple. I feel like people were like, this guy is so, whatever. And now they're like, he just calls her Pookie, and they live this life, and it's just like what they do.
Yeah.
There's something that you can earn, It's annoying that you even have to like earn it, because it's like, who the fuck are you at home on the internet? But when you just continue to be genuine, continue to do the thing, it's like, everyone's giving you bad feedback or whatever, and you're just like, I still like to do it.
Yeah, sometimes I think people are so ready to get fired up, but then it just takes a few more posts, and then they go, oh,
never mind.
And then they chill out, and they're like, oh, this is actually you.
Yeah. That, I think as long as people get the vibe that you're not fake doing it for, just the money or the clout. We got a guy here who we found him. He was blogging in 2001 when I was like, I didn't even know blogs existed.
Yeah.
And he did it until when did Frank come on? 2016?
I would say later than that officially. Like I would say probably closer to 2020.
Probably closer to 2020.
Higher.
He went viral. Frank the Tank. He went viral on local news about New Jersey Transit, and we hired him as like a part-time guy. And now he's like one of the biggest stars on the internet. Cameo, making money on Cameo, like hand over fist, and all this shit. But he was blogging. He called it the Sports Encyclopedia, and he just blogged about random sports shit.
Yeah.
And he had a video on YouTube where he said, if the national men's soccer team does not make the World Cup, I'll eat this piece of paper. And he went on YouTube. And
Hold up. Are we talking about Frank the Tank, I will drink 88 eggs right now? Frank the Tank?
No, but I don't
who's
know.
that?
Oh, wait. I don't want to misconstrue this. Maybe we just cut this part. But
who wants to drink 88 eggs?
There's that dude on YouTube where his whole thing.
Shoe Nice?
No, not Shoe Nice. Because when you say eat the paper, you're making me think of this guy.
Eat 88 eggs.
He would. Yeah, I mean, if you just YouTube guy drinks 100 eggs or something, I guarantee he's the only result.
I would think that.
Guarantee he's the only result, dude. Yeah.
How many eggs do you think you could eat in a day?
Me?
Yeah. We were talking about this the other day. I guess there was like a viral thing where it was like, ask a guy if he could eat.
Bro, there's a Reddit subreddit, natural bodybuilding, and the topic is, what's stopping me from eating 48 eggs a day?
Yeah.
Eggs are cheap, and I don't have a lot of money, so why wouldn't I do this? Sorry, you go.
Do you think you could eat your age in eggs a day? Not a day, but like in one day.
That's a lot of fucking eggs.
Well, I'm only 16, so it's like carton and a quarter.
I think I'm 35. I do not think I would have that much of a
35 eggs. Okay, hold on.
Now, you also got to decide. I think if you scramble up 35 eggs, that's going to be like a pile of eggs.
Yeah.
But I think that for whatever reason, and I don't know, maybe scientifically it's all the same, but that feels a lot easier than eating like 35 hard-boiled eggs. Like, eat a whole egg. But it might not be. It's probably the same amount of substance.
I think the fluffiness. I would definitely scramble all of them.
Yeah.
I'd scramble all of them.
You don't think you could just hit a run or a row for an hour and you wouldn't fire up the appetite? You don't think?
Oh, no, I'm saying I could.
I'm
saying I do it, bro. I do it without
Bro,
breaking.
you could do that like right now.
Yeah.
Actually, we've talked about it enough now.
Yeah, I think that's to be the next episode.
You catch a deviled eggs like platter at a party, you'll fucking hammer.
I mean, I eat eggs every night, every morning.
Dude, every night, every morning.
We were at the airport. We're at the airport catching a morning flight, and we're walking to the gate, and he just reaches in, pulls out a bag of hard-boiled eggs, and like peels the plastic.
Is it the one from Starbucks? Or
yeah. No, they were from like the Hudson News or whatever. But like, it's just
this bag of eggs.
Yeah.
Damn,
what
dude.
are you doing?
I have so much respect for you that you will eat those.
I've always said every airport should have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches wrapped up.
Yeah,
they don't go
smart.
bad.
Yeah.
And everybody likes those.
Yeah.
Eggs
Yeah,
in a bag?
Eggs is crazy.
That's the one thing that I'm like, no.
Eggs is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's got the least shelf life in the world.
No.
Well, I guess it doesn't, but it feels that way.
That's what you'd think. You actually look at those bags of eggs; they've been there for months.
Yeah.
No, for real though?
For real, they'll have a couple months. I got some eggs.
A couple months for real?
I got some eggs delivered recently, probably in December, and it was early February expiration date.
That sounds right.
But they're in the fridge and everything.
Yeah.
But these are just like in a cooler that's like open, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. We get the warm waters at. We reaching back for the Evian. You're like, if I get one in the back, maybe it's a little cooler.
Exactly. Those things never. They have the plastic like car wash flap.
Yeah.
That doesn't do shit, man.
Yeah, man. Man, you're a hero to me. That you could eat those. Anytime I see anyone eat those, I just think their farts are gonna just. I just think they're gonna light up the
He
plane.
hops on the plane. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna just fucking
Do you
carpet
eat those?
bomb this whole.
Do you eat it before you sit or while you sit?
I eat it before I'm in public. Like I'll eat it like walking through the airport. So yes, I'm technically in public. But if I'm sitting next to a stranger,
I was gonna say that's gloating. You sit next to someone on a plane. You're like, "What's up, pal?"
That's great. I even feel bad when I'm sitting next to a stranger, because another thing I'll do in the airports a lot, my snack will be beef jerky.
Yeah.
And I feel bad opening that next to a stranger on the plane, because that's pungent.
Yeah.
You open a bag of Jack Link's.
Honestly, I'm pretty like eat your food before you get on the plane.
Yeah.
Unless it's like dire and you're like running to a connecting and shit. I get it. And even then it's better be like a quick slice of pizza, something that's not. But these people who bring like meals or ethnic food, whatever your ethnic family eats.
Yeah, whatever. That's actually what I do when I get on a plane. I bring a pot of what my mom grew up eating.
Bro,
steel pot.
I went to El Salvador, and I came from El Salvador.
You call me El Salvadorian?
What's that?
Nice.
It would work.
Yeah,
it would fit.
Nice try.
But they have a chicken place. I forget what it's called, and
El Pollo Loco.
It's honestly something very comparable. And bro, every single person walked onto that plane with like they come in like Dunkin' Munchkins boxes.
Yeah.
They all had it. Everyone.
Well, then
because it's so good. Like my friend who lives there, she was like, "We gotta stop and get you some chicken first."
Yeah.
And everyone knows how good it is. You gotta.
So like they're leaving and they're like, I gotta get one more.
Yeah.
Then I'm also on board with that. Let's make this a party.
Yeah.
But if it's one person eating eggs, it's like, come on.
It's funny how that works. If it's one, it's no. But
if it's everybody,
group think.
If we all want to jerk off.
Yeah.
If everybody wants to masturbate, you can do it right now.
Yeah.
But if one guy does it, you're going to jail.
Yeah, if we all beat off on this plane, they can't take us all.
I'm Spartacus. No one's getting arrested here, man.
That's foul. That's crazy. Yeah, dude. I think I just have to say, I think the rudest thing I've ever experienced was on like a jumper flight. When it's like you're going over a lake for 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And
we're talking one of those you have to balance the weight of the plane sort of thing.
Yeah. They make you like ditch clothes before you board. So
they blatantly have to tell the fat people like you got to go over here or you got to go there. Yeah, that sucks. I always feel so bad for them.
Yeah, they're like, you can't take your mom's gumbo. I'm like, motherfucker. No, this dude walks on a plane like that with, it was like a Mongolian Express, like just some airport Chinese food. And yeah, the dude, I mean, I don't know, 3 different items, just a reeking fucking box. And yeah, just through the plane, open, fills the plane. No. Yeah, and then I think like the air conditioning wasn't working for 30 minutes, so it was just like,
and not a single second did he think anything.
Nah.
Like I can't tell.
Sorry, let me contextualize that. I think he should have had. I think he knew what he was doing because it was hot in the airport. The sun was beaming through the windows. He knows that plane's cooking.
Yeah.
For him to go, I'm doing it anyway.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
There is some honor in that, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't decide whether I'm jealous of those people or I'm happy to never be one, but because there's something kind of intriguing and freeing about people who just have no regard for normal standards.
Nah, I'm jealous, man. They
just do what they want.
I always like to think of things in terms of like the GTA stars, like
okay, yeah. How many stars would this earn you?
In different categories, right? Like there's crime, but then I always think of like social.
Love this idea.
Yeah, so to be on like 5 GTA social stars, like
love
just
that.
Never caring.
Yes,
like just walking on a plane with stinky ass food. It's like bink, and everyone's like, oh fuck you.
Doesn't matter, dude.
Dude, I walked out.
Helicopters coming for you. Don't fucking care. I'm eating my eggs.
I walked outside this office fairly recently, and to be fair, it was a homeless person, so their sense of reality is a little distorted.
Yeah.
But as you come in, I'm sure you saw the scaffolding outside.
Yeah.
And she had her 2 hands on the lowest bar, and she's just leaning back like
just
pissing. like I walked out to there was possible to the Dwayne Reed has like an indent on the window, so it was possible to lean towards the window and do it. She leaned into the middle of the sidewalk, took a quick left, and almost just like caught straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
New York, baby. Yeah. New York, man.
You're diving on your stomach with 2 hands.
I went Barry Keoghan and Saltburn. I was just like,
oh wow, what a visual. This coming from the guy who dry heaves.
Yeah, for real. I can't believe you didn't whip out the phone, man.
Yeah.
In old school internet days, that's like I gotta get this for the blog.
Yeah.
Gotta film this old woman.
Yeah, that is crazy. People don't even film homeless people pee anymore.
Yeah,
it's not cool.
It's almost I kind of like it because for real, like when we were, if anything happened in my life from 2010 to 2000, I don't know, 18, it was like, dude, gotta get this,
It's good. It probably stopped.
For sure.
I remember the tips email, like back in the day with Barstool, people just send in pictures of like random people on the train.
We used to just put it on the
look
internet.
at fucking Hitler's in Boston. Like, it's not a Hitler. It's a guy with to be fair, I remember that blog. That guy kind of.
He looked like Hitler. That guy was walking around with a Hitler mustache. You deserve to get put on blast. But like perfectly normal people who just kind of look a little ugly or fat or look like something, and we would just put that fucking picture up and be like, ha ha ha.
Wow. How
rude,
far we've
man.
Come.
Yeah,
I know, right? How far we come? We're talking about homeless people pissing on the street.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not giving out our government name though.
Yeah. So are you? What's the word with your man Cody? You guys still doing things together?
Yeah, we record every week.
I feel like people are starting to think that there's something happening.
Yeah, he had a kid.
Yeah. I was gonna say you guys are like starting to have real lives, right?
Yeah. No, he has a kid, and that's what he's been.
Is that something when you guys started where you were like, kind of like we were talking about, where like the internet is almost you kind of crisscross with reality? Like when you started, were you like in a perfect world, I'd be a comedian, or I'd be a DJ, but we'll do this now, or is like we want to do this, and then kind of life just took you that way?
Yeah, no, well, I can't speak on if Cody always wanted to be a DJ. I know it's something he always dabbled in, but I can say for me, I did definitely want to get back to stand-up at some point. So I definitely had that goal in mind.
Why'd you stop though?
So
money and success was like, I can't leave this. It's too good right now.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of a thing where when I started doing stand-up, I did stand-up all the way up until Cody and I started working together, and I was still doing it. And I actually brought Cody into it. Like I would kind of take him to mics, and
sure.
He would do a few shows. Then we actually used to do shows together. There was like a monthly show at the Improv that we would do. And then
you went on the road doing like the live podcast, no?
And then we went.
I feel like I saw crowds that were like rocking for you.
Yeah. So then we did a year in a like year and a quarter, we were touring very actively. And so it kind of started as a live podcast, and then it turned into like a variety show. But then my pocket of the show was, we basically did sets.
Was that Tiny Meat Gang? Was the original? It was the show, and then it became.
No. So actually, we worked together as software engineers, or like writing code, and then Cody was, we were both making Vines, but then Vine was crashing, and Cody knew of me through Vine, and I knew of him through Vine, and it was like kind of a funny thing because, so I was like relatively late to Vine. I think I only peaked at like 100,000 followers, and I remember one day a person messaged me and they go, "Dude, Cody Co follows you." I'm like, "Who's Cody Co?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Oh, this dude's got like 6 million followers. This is crazy." And then a month later, I'm sitting at my job, and in walks Cody, and he sits on the other side of me. And we had like DM'd briefly before that.
And so you guys were both you had a day job.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we both had day jobs.
And fuck around on Vine and shit for fun. So
then when Vine started, like everyone knew it was going away, everyone was starting to pivot to YouTube. So I started filming sketch, and so the sketch was like me, Cody, and a buddy of ours named Gian. And then Cody would fuck around with vlogs, and I'd help him make those. And then I kind of showed him the reaction format, and then we came across this video of like, the blowjob robot, and he's like, "Oh, let's give this, like, why don't we react to this?" So then that kind of started the whole like That's Cringe series, and then I got laid off from the engineering job.
The best.
And then Cody goes, "Well," he was like, "Why don't we just try to figure out how to make content work?" And at that time, we were flirting with the idea of doing the TMG podcast, but we didn't really have a name for it. And what's funny is the first time Tiny Meat Gang's mentioned is I make a joke about like a baby in a sonogram, and I was like, "Yeah, Megan, you love this one." She hates when I bring this up, but I was joking about a baby holding its meat, and then they like swipe the sonogram over, and then I just say Tiny Meat Gang. And so then Cody makes a video like, digging on Jake Paul, and then he's like, "Oh, let's make a song," and I help him make the song, and then we need a name for the artist. I go, "Oh, why don't we just go with Tiny Meat Gang?" So then I get laid off, and then Cody says, "Why don't we just try to figure out how to make content work?" And then I say, "Oh, maybe we start a podcast." And at that time, he was just doing Insanely Chill, and then we figure out how to do this podcast. He's like, "What do we call a podcast?" I'm like, "Tiny Meat Gang podcast." So then that's how the kind of the snowball just like went. And so in that time, I think I didn't feel like I could focus on stand-up because I was just too focused on how do I replace my income.
Sure.
Because
that's first and foremost.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I had lost.
So were you doing spots and shit were you doing like software coding, content, and comedy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I didn't go to school for writing code. So I was like self-taught, and I just kind of crawled my way up in that world, and
that's why you got laid off, bro.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, well, no, I mean they ended up laying off everybody, and they sold the company. So shout out Fullscreen.
Were you? I do think sometimes those like if that didn't happen, I think that's the best thing that can happen. Like if it didn't happen, would you have just kept the course? Or you would have like eventually quit and broken out?
I don't think I would have kept the course, because what Cody and I were doing was just it was
working.
Yeah, it was working. So I think inevitably we would have landed on where we landed. To be honest, I was like kind of thankful in a way, because I kind of felt like it was something that gave me the push to just go after everything.
There's no safety net now. It's like no excuses, no fallback.
But I couldn't feel like I could focus on stand-up because I was kind of in a similar position. Because when I had started writing code, it was like a similar thing. I was like living in a small apartment with my dad. I mean, he like lived in the living room, and it was like a kind of a dire situation. And so I like taught myself to write code to like get out of that.
Sure.
And so by like coming on the end of that and then having this kind of opportunity come up, my mind was kind of in that mode where I go, okay, fuck, like I got to do it again. And so,
I mean, dick jokes is a lot easier than code.
Yeah. To be honest, I miss code sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
I started as an accountant, and I hate the accounting, but I do miss the like normalcy of a regular job.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like,
I don't miss
when
that.
Shit gets crazy, when shit gets crazy here, I always think like I could just be in front of a computer pretending to work, not really working.
I'm a pretty restless person, but I
You like the crazy, you like that life.
But writing code's creative. It's fun, but yeah. So then fast forward, the TMG stuff, it just took off. So then we had that whole year where we toured, and that kind of like put this battery in my back to go back to stand up. So I actually started doing stand up right before COVID happened again, and then it happened. So
that sucks.
That's what led me to Twitch, and so I think everything has just been. To answer your question, I think it's always been on my mind to get back to here. Vine
is a fun one. I feel like if I was a Viner, I would wear that like a badge of honor.
You would?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was such a like maybe that is like looking back on it, but I feel like it was so quick, and so only like a certain group of people got in on it, and a certain group of people blew up on it, and it's like only you guys have that, I loved Vine. I was never a character on it, but I loved like utilizing it. 6 seconds, like there was a lot of cool shit about that. I always actually thought it was weird that it ended. I thought
it was ahead of its time. Yeah, because they're starting to do all the things that musically was doing.
Right. Yeah, they were just a little too early.
Too late. Yeah.
But so I would be like, I was.
It is really crazy, man.
That.
Yeah, I did a Vine where I just said, "Hey, yo, it's your boy," or I said, "Hey, it's your boy, Skinny Penis."
It's all it takes, right?
But to this day, till this day, I get so many people. Like I posted some crowd work clip over the weekend, and there's like comments there that are like, "Wait, is this Skinny Penis?"
What is your most memorable Vine? Not one you made. Vine as a whole.
Oh shoot.
Dude, I always remember the chick with the eraser. How you can't erase your heart.
God bless her, man.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, erasers are,
it's
don't work on your heart, something. Yeah, it was like a Disney quote.
Yeah.
So do you think of Vine as cringy? Because when I said I would wear
no,
you were like, oh, word?
No, I remember it in a positive
Fondly,
way. Yeah. I just think others don't remember it positively. Yeah.
Well, there was. I mean, there's haters. There's people. You got it?
Yeah.
Let me see this shit.
Play on that. I think everything like.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Because who you are and who you were born wanting to love isn't a mistake.
The flip.
Now I remember that. Yeah.
I think
the GOAT.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think when you like do something, you're always kind of like more self-critical. Like when like people think it's cool that like we have a podcast.
Yeah.
Or like we blogged. I'm always like now I think it's cool that we blogged. Now I think it's cool that we have a podcast. But like when it was starting, I was like, I'm such a loser.
Yeah.
Like we always said that like during blogging, like the hardest part of blogging was explaining your job without saying what you do. Really.
Yeah.
I write for a sports media company. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to say this is what I do.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like anything else. You get nostalgic about it.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
It becomes a little old school.
Yeah.
That's what's weird to me is what I was saying. We like being early on the internet. You don't feel like you're gonna get old, but you do. You get old, and it's like, hey, remember that thing? And half the internet goes, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Sports, fucking everything.
It's kind of awesome though, because you can. I think that's a way you can like explore new stuff.
Yeah, I think
things.
you kind of get to almost like a Robert Frost. Fork in the road, where you're either like gonna be like an old head, like they talk about the NBA guys who like hate on it, or you can be like, that's a little interesting. We used to live differently. Here's how it used to be with us.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I'm not a basketball guy, but I think the thing people seem to like about like Inside T or whatever the halftime show is called, TNT, is like the guys tend to not hate. I think again, I'm looking at it from a
they're. I mean, but they're good. Like they're from the old guard, so they have all the info and know about it and tell the stories. But they're also like, I saw people saying like give it 20 years, and people are going to be saying Luka Doncic scored 73 on a bunch of plumbers. These guys aren't real. Every fucking time.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes, guys.
Yeah.
It's just that the internet is new. The way sports coverage is, it's all very new. So we haven't had many generations yet.
Yeah.
And once you get a few of those under your belt, you're going to realize it's the same cycle always and forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's also been the interesting part is as I've seen like TikTok grow, it went through all the same phases of YouTube where it's like, all right, you got the prank people.
Yeah.
It's all the same categories, and it just kind of, in a different way. But yeah.
It is. It's funny because we were talking about it the other day with just like how the world and life doesn't really change. You get new characters placed in, kind of like you were talking about with like
the Matrix, dude.
the white guy and the
Yeah.
But like we were talking about it with football this weekend, where I was like, I've watched that Chiefs game. I watched it for 20 years with the Patriots. It's
Yeah.
the same fucking game.
Yeah.
It's the same team. It's the same guy at quarterback. It's the same guy at tight end.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the Lions. We're like, I've watched that team before.
You know what it is? It's like being an old man when there's like a blizzard's coming and you're like, and everyone's fucking getting ready and buying milk and bread, and you're like, they've had this report forever the whole time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, global warming's not real.
I can't wait to be that guy.
Just kidding.
This old man on the porch
Just
just
kidding.
being like, nah, it'll be fine. We've done this story 100 times before.
That's why all the stuff I'm working on now, I'm trying to do the most like absurd. Like I'm really trying to.
It's hard to like, because
Yeah.
when I think of shit as like, I have to remind myself that there's a new wave of internet users that haven't seen or heard that joke, or some like we do answer the internet where a lot of like classic questions, but it's new to them.
Yeah,
I have to remind myself that like you should still do some of that stuff for the new people.
Yeah,
But you got to come up
definitely.
with new shit because the people who've been with you from the beginning
Yeah.
have seen it all.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be manufactured, so it's a very fine line. What are you trying to get crazy with?
Well, my latest project is I've turned a talk show desk into a race car. Yeah.
Go on.
Like doing like the
Yeah. So I call it Hot Laps. I just did the first episode.
Yes.
Yeah. But
You took a talk show desk.
yeah, so it's like it's a legitimate. At this point, I put a lot of money into it, and it's a legitimate race car. Like I think I could race a certain category of car with this desk.
How fast?
Yeah.
Can I see? What like?
Yeah.
Did you build it out, or it's still like a smaller?
No. It's
It's a full blown fucking.
yeah. No, it's the real deal.
How much money are we talking in this car?
A lot. Let me see if I can, as I'm talking, dig up like a super recent. Well, this
And
will give you an idea of the chassis and stuff, but it looks a little bit different now.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's got fully custom frame, live differential. We figured out how we can make it drift.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
Tokyo Drift.
yeah, in a desk.
Office desk edition.
So yeah, I'm planning the third episode.
You were always like handy with like you could always build and shit.
So I didn't build this one. I wish I could, but I don't have the time. But
You could have though.
no. Some of this I would have needed a lot of help.
Got it.
I actually.
Are you handy at all?
Yeah. Okay. No, I used to work on cars like in college, and definitely.
You're a real man.
You would call that a real man?
I would.
Fuck yeah!
I absolutely think that if you
You can use an Allen wrench. You're a real man in my
Oh
opinion.
wow. Okay.
if
I guess
you
I'm a
can
real
do
man.
that shit, you have a leg up on little boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
we're still little boys over here. Like if something goes wrong with my car, I'm calling. I'm calling AAA. I'm calling you.
got
I'm calling
it.
somebody
Right,
else.
right.
I can't. I'm not fixing it. So
But
yeah, man, if you can do like carpentry, if you can do mechanics, if you can do electronics, you are a man.
I mean,
Do you know the difference in steaks?
Yeah. If you're a big meat guy, you know all the different cuts of meat and shit.
Yeah, that's something I'm
like, I'll
starting
just
to
have
learn.
a fillet,
You learning
medium,
steak?
please.
Slightly, just because from just traveling, I've been to the Midwest so much. Like I've ran into enough, 50-year-old white guys that like lecture me on cuts and
They do
slices.
like to talk about it.
Yeah.
Dude, I was in
Their rubs and
Arkansas recently, and I like lamb, but like when I order it, it's usually from a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
It's been prepared and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of the woods in Arkansas, and some dude just threw like a rack of lamb in front of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what parts to eat and what parts not to eat, but I didn't want to be rude, so I just ate all the parts.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he's like, "How are those tendons?" And I was like, "I had a feeling I was eating a lot of just not stuff."
Yeah. I always feel with those guys too, like you can't even just compliment the food. Like you have to say, "Oh man, this steak is really good," and they'll be like, "It's because of where I cut it." And they like to like go into something about like
Still has the black
reason
gloves
why.
on.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I feel like you got a lot going, dude. So
Yeah, no, I mean it's been
congrats on that.
Thanks, dude.
I think it's so easy to flame out too, like, or get lazy and like redundant. Just
Yeah,
like, hey, I'll just
content,
do
yeah.
this YouTube shit forever, and probably could have and would have and been fine. But like, you know,
Yeah.
I'd rather try to make this, stream that, go back to this. So it takes a certain type of drive to do that.
Oh, thanks, bro.
I think
Yeah.
it's pretty admirable.
Thanks, man. Yeah. It's been a crazy year, I'll say.
I would imagine. Yeah. And now you got married too, right? So like, all
Yeah.
that's in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, this last 3 years feels like a blur because, like, I toured all year, got married, and then at the top of last year, did, like, a 70-day tour, got home in June, took a few months off, this desk finished. I'm like, great. Filmed that. I put out my special, and then I'm back on tour, so it all just feels like this.
Dude,
like,
when do you? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
You
man.
gonna take a break at all?
No, right now I
Pop out
feel
some ethnically baked kids.
if I pop those out, I'm gonna just keep going. I just think that's how I'm wired. I can't.
Yeah, you can't stop.
I just
You're a
can't
shark,
sit.
bro. Gotta
Yeah,
keep swimming.
yeah, I can't, man.
Well, man,
Yeah.
you're doing it right. So we
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
the time, bro.
No, I appreciate you guys. No, this is great, dude.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so glad we could be here. When does John show up?
What's up?
John Wayne Gacy? When does he show up?
Bring him in.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.